Hello everyone, welcome to Anime No Me, and thank you for joining us for another One Piece video. The mysterious cross guild of Buggy, Crocodile, and Mihawk is currently one of the first crews that are now going to be hunting the Marines, completely reversing the balance of power in the world of One Piece, because now the hunters are turning into the hunted. So in today's video, we're going to talk about this alliance of three very powerful pirates, how the Marine hunting system that they have recently created works, and what the goal of the system might be. But before we dive into the video, if you're new to the channel or even if you've watched a bunch of our videos, we'd be absolutely honored if you'd leave us a like and even subscribe and maybe leave us a comment letting us know what you thought of the video. It really helps us out, especially with that YouTube algorithm. And if you'd like to help out the channel in a bigger way, consider sharing this video or another with your friends. But without further ado, let's get into the video. So my friends, the Cross Guild is a powerful organization led by three former warlords: Buggy, Crocodile, and Dracula Mihawk, pirates who are recognized worldwide and are quite famous. Now originally, the Cross Guild was to consist only of Crocodile and Mihawk. However, the pirate Buggy accidentally usurped the presidency of the organization due to a misunderstanding on behalf of his crew. You see, they had made posters with the faces of the three pirates, but Buggy's face was centered and larger than the other two, making the world government think that Buggy was the leader of this new union of pirates, making him a Yonko after the defeat of Kaido and Big Mom. The alliance between these three pirates began after the warlord system was dismantled due to a majority vote during the revelry, so Buggy and Mihawk became criminals once again. Now, Crocodile is the kind of character who always sees an opportunity in anything that changes in the world, so he offered Mihawk a partnership to create a crew that could favor them both, the Cross Guild, which intends to hunt Marines for bounties, just as Mihawk used to do in the old days. In this way, they would be able to take out Marines little by little, as well as commanding the underworld, enriching both pirates and becoming important individuals worldwide. And Mihawk accepted the offer. Next, Crocodile went to Buggy to collect a huge debt that Buggy had owed him. And when he arrived where Buggy was, Crocodile saw that many Marines were attacking Buggy's crew. So Crocodile decided to help Buggy, defeating all the Marines so that he could have his moment to get his money back. But upon meeting him personally, Buggy revealed to Crocodile that he had no money to pay off the debt. But Buggy offered to use his fame that he'd gained as a warlord and Buggy's delivery service as a starting base to advertise, and he offered to do this free of charge. However, Buggy's staff and crew, completely infatuated with his fame and confused that Crocodile had saved him out of loyalty, created a pamphlet that had Buggy as the leading member of the guild and then distributed it all over the world before Buggy could ever review it. As a result of this mishap, the world government mistook Buggy as the leader and appointed him as one of the new 4 warlords due to his supporting charisma of recruiting even 2 former warlords as his subordinates. Now, Crocodile and Mihawk were very unhappy about this and brutally beat Buggy for it. However, Mihawk saw an opportunity and suggested that they use Buggy as the face of the organization. That way, Crocodile and Mihawk could avoid any unwanted attention from the world government or anybody else in the world. Besides, they could easily take Buggy's life whenever they wished, so it'd be much more advantageous for them to keep him alive, at least for the time being. And Crocodile begrudgingly agreed with Mihawk's decision. So all that was left was for Buggy to announce to his subordinates that Crocodile and Mihawk were the directors of this new crew, so that his subordinates would serve these 2 pirates as well, considering them leaders just like Chairman Buggy. So with the Cross Guild established, their plan is to use their collective power and political influence to issue bounties on Marines, an initiative that seems to be working, at least as far as it's been indicated in the newspapers. As a result of these bounties, the Marines now have to worry about attacks not only from pirates, but also civilians and bounty hunters, making it all the more dangerous for the Marines to operate around the world. Due to the popularity of the idea and the group, they've also received enhanced funding from the underworld organizations, which makes them richer and enables them to afford the hunting bounties and make them even bigger. Now, unlike the pirate bounty posters that have a belly-based value, the Marine hunting posters are so far at least showing a different style, which are star-based. So far, it's not possible to clearly identify the value that each star symbolizes, but it's likely that there's going to be some table with a fixed value of each number of stars. So each star symbolizes an exact value of the bounty. Another thing we don't know is what the maximum star value on a wanted poster could be, but it's likely to be around 5 or 6, which means that the admirals, and even for the fleet admiral, those who have the highest level are going to have the highest level of stars on their posters. After all, they are the leaders of the Marines and the ones responsible for arresting pirates and establishing order on the seas, second only to the world government, who is of course responsible for administering the political system of the world. Our current Fleet Admiral of the Marines is Sakazuki, also known by his nickname Akainu, and he commanded the entire Marines, possessing an absolute justice above all. And Akainu only follows the orders of the world government because it is of course the only organization above the Marines. Below Sakazuki, we have the Admirals, who are the most powerful Marines in the whole organization. And our current Marine Admirals are Fujitora, Kizaru, and Ryukugyu, being the most important within the Marines. So these individuals would end up getting the highest bounty. And perhaps we might see 6 stars for the Fleet Admiral and 5 stars for all of the Admirals. But we also have to remember that there are other positions such as Vice Admiral and other important people that the Cross Guild may be looking to take out. Aside from the bigger names on the list, the Cross Guild may be looking to take out other notable Marines just to drop the morale of the whole organization. One that would be of an extreme value, especially to the Marines and their morale, would be somebody like Monkey D. Garb, who in the past was not only a powerful Marine, but he actually rivaled the former Pirate King Gold D. Roger. Another detail that furthers the notoriety of Garb is the fact that he had been offered Fleet Admiral and the position of Admiral multiple times, but rejected it every time. But aside from Garb, we also could see Sudaru, who is a Vice Admiral, who has had a great presence in the past, being able to frighten pirates even in her old age. Other notable Marines within the Vice Admirals would be Momomonga, Strawberry, Yamakaji, Doberman, and Onigumo. And these 5 Marines who were responsible for navigating the Buster Calls, the biggest source of destructions that the Marine currently has. Now, even though the Vice Admirals don't necessarily possess the same level of strength as an Admiral, it's still very clear that they're quite competent as Marines, being able to achieve many different things throughout their career. And they're also the leadership structure of the Marine organization. And if you take out the head, the body may be less likely to keep moving. So as we're thinking about this star structure, where the Fleet Admiral might get 6 and the Admirals get 5, the Vice Admirals may end up having a 4-star bounty, which, although still not the highest, is still going to be very notable and well-known people, not only known within the Marines, but also by regular citizens around the world. Following the Vice Admirals, we have the Rear Admirals. Now, although they're not so well known, they are very faithful to their positions. And among them, we know is Kobe, a great friend of Luffy and past, and Hina, who also appeared several times during other arcs in the past. Now, although Kobe might be well known from the Rocky Port incident, other Rear Admirals may not get as much notoriety, and therefore would have a bounty of only about 3 stars, which could be compared to some of the other high-ish level Marines. Beyond the Admirals, we also have Commodores, Captains, Commanders, Lieutenant Commanders, as well as other lower positions, but they're still going to possess some notoriety, and they may draw a 1 to 2 star bounty, being the Marines that are easiest to be captured and taken out. But this creates a problem all on its own. Because these Commodores and Commanders and Lieutenant Commanders might have lower bounties than some of the others, this also makes them a much easier target for bounty hunters and other pirates. So this means that they might go after multiples, because if they're able to take out a few 1 and 2 star people from the Marines, they're going to make an even bigger profit from the Cross Guild. So as these bounties roll out and we start losing large amounts of Marines, this is only going to leave many more powerful Marines in which hardly a bounty hunter or even a regular pirate would try and capture. But this also means that higher ups are not going to have the same level of support or manpower. And aside from that, it's also going to make it much harder for the Marines as a whole to recruit and convince people to join their organization when they're currently being hunted by pirates. Overall, one might wonder if this bounty creation system is just a system of revenge for the pirates, but it might have an even greater purpose, although the members of the Cross Guild just haven't said it yet. The Marine bounties might have been created in order to gain influence worldwide and weaken the Marines for a possible conflict in the future. After all, with the weakening of the Marines, pirates would have had much more freedom to get what they want. It would also make it easier for a much bigger confrontation between pirates and the Marines to happen. And as I already said, if these bounties start getting collected, this is still going to make it difficult for the Marines to acquire new recruits. And as they're constantly losing Marines because of the bounties, the Marines are going to weaken as a whole structure, to the point where they may be totally disadvantaged during a major battle. Because as we saw in the battle during Marineford, the Marines were able to resist the Whitebeard pirates only because of their superior numbers. However, as the Cross Guild starts to enact their plan, this would make it impossible for the Marines to resist another attack like Marineford, because only those that were in a high position within the Marines would still be able to fight. And although they're powerful, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking any of the Admirals or even Akainu. This is something where if it comes down to a numbers game, the Cross Guild still has some very powerful pirates and fighters on their side. So as you can see, the Cross Guild has done something that will greatly affect the Marines, and consequently the world government as well, because they are after all protected by the Marines. And even though they might still have CP0 and the Seraphim, it doesn't mean that they're going to be able to take up for every bit of loss that the Cross Guild will bring to the Marines. So as we see this play out in future chapters, we have to know that as the Cross Guild begins to destabilize the world, the balance of power in our world of One Piece could begin to tip in the direction of the pirates and not the Marines. But this again makes us wonder, once they start to lose power, what might the Marines and the world government be desperate enough to try so they can keep their grip on their control over the world? But with all that said, my friends, we'd now love to know what you think about it. Why do you think the Cross Guild is going after Marines? Do you think it's just to destabilize the world and so Crocodile can watch the world burn? Or do you think they have a longer game idea in play? Second off, what do you think about the starred bounty system that we've put forth in this video? Do you think that 6 stars for Fleet Admiral, 5 for Admirals, and so forth that we laid out is reasonable? Or do you think it'll be an even bigger star system? And finally, once the Cross Guild starts to enact their plan and they start taking Marines off the playing field, what do you think the world government might do in response? Let us know what you think in the comments below. So as we bring our video to a close, I'd like to thank all of you so much for watching the video, especially those of you who have hung with us all the way to the very end. Be sure you comment any themes or ideas that you'd like to see in future videos. And also, since you made it this far, give us a like and hit that red subscribe button before you head out to take on the rest of your day. I hope to see you all in our next video, and let's keep sailing this giant sea together. Take care.